Hi everyone, so I am back with another video. I cannot believe I actually have time today to vlog for you guys, which is amazing because I just want to get this video out there and stay on track. So it's really nice because we have a very slow, easy day today. The Knaamsor, the nurse that comes to your house, she left at 3 and right now it's like almost 5. And basically we've been hanging out with Logan and Brooke is taking a nap right now. So I thought I was going to do this video for you guys. I'll let you guys know how my labor and delivery went. So this is going to be my labor and delivery story. And I'm going to take it from the moment that I last updated you guys on my pregnancy, which was 39 weeks exactly. So the day I turned 39 weeks, I vlogged for you guys in the afternoon and I edited that video and I uploaded that video, scheduled it for Friday like I always do. And I all did that all in Local Snap. And like I mentioned in this video, I had a lot of prodromal labor. There were times where those contractions were very irregular and associated with some pain, but they weren't like continuous. They weren't getting closer together, they weren't getting stronger. They were just wearing me out. And I was having them for the rest of the day, and when I put Logan down for the night, it just got to the point where I just got really frustrated, really annoyed with it. And I called like my parents, like get some relief to just get some support. And she was like, I really think you should tell this to your midwife. Like I don't feel like if there's something that's been going on for 10 days and you've let them know it's been going on for that long, they're taking you very seriously. Like 10 days of prodromal labor like this while you have a little one already and your pregnancy is already like wearing you out. That's not a very healthy thing if you still have to go into labor. So I called the midwife, let her know like this is not something I can do for another week. I cannot wait till my next appointment because it's only on Tuesday. And she was like, well, okay, you know what? I'm going to come over and see if those contractions do anything, if I can do a membrane sweep or, but the one thing I cannot do right now is I cannot send you to the hospital to get induced. But that's how serious she took what I was saying, which is really nice. I didn't want to be induced, by the way. So I was really glad she was just coming over. She was at my house, I think at like 9:15, something like that. And she checked me and I was a tight 2 centimeters dilated and about 50% of face or something like that. Like she doesn't really say a percentage, but she said that I was about, like usually it's about 2 centimeters your cervix. And with me it was like a good centimeter still. But it was far enough for her I was far enough dilated for her that she could do a membrane sweep. And she did it 3 times. Like she went in there, she pulled on my cervix, she like made circles, and then she like pulled back. And it was excruciatingly painful. And she told me that usually they give you about 12 to 24 hours for the contractions to start before they do another membrane sweep. And she said, well, I understand that since you don't want to wait that long because you are in prodromal labor and you're just exhausted and you're done. How about I come in on Friday at 2 and we'll check you again, see what we're going from there. And I've been up all that night. So from Thursday to Friday I was up with semi-regular contractions. Like they were regular for like 2 to 3 hours, but they were like 5 to like 6 minutes apart, not lasting for longer than 30 seconds. And she said it would happen because sometimes when you have a membrane sweep you get these like membrane sweep contractions as they call them. And the next day we brought Logan to the daycare and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like I'm exhausted. I barely got any sleep. I'm just done. So I called her up and was like, is there anything we can do before 2 in the afternoon to like get things going? And she was like, you know what? I'm just going to come over, see if those contractions did anything. And if they did, then I may be able to break your water. And she came over around 10-ish, I think, in the morning. And she checked me and she was like, well, now you're a good 2. Your cervix is definitely a little bit more effaced. I'm gonna like talk it over with my coworker or with the other midwife that was having the afternoon to like the next day shift on call, how she feels about it. But if she's okay, I'm gonna break your water and just see where we go from there. And that midwife was okay with it too, so she ended up breaking my water. And that was actually not as painful at all. That was actually pretty much a relief. But the moment she broke my water and the first like real gush came out, I could tell by Rob's face, like I was looking at Rob's face, something was up. And my mom was like very calm, like taking her hand out, a lot of gulp came out, amniotic fluid. And she like looked at me and says, well, I broke your water, and and I made a good like hole in the water bag. The downside is that there's meconium in the amniotic fluid. So, and I was like, oh, so I have to go to the hospital? She's like, yeah, there's no way this is okay. We need to go to the hospital like ASAP. Or not ASAP, but right now. So we ended up just packing up our stuff. Luckily, I already had a hospital bag. We did need to add a few things in there. Since Logan was at daycare, we kind of finished off his overnight bag. Let my dad know that he needed to be picking up Logan. And just got everything ready, and we left. And at 11 o'clock, I was in the hospital. I was admitted. And in the meantime, like from her breaking my water to actually being admitted to the hospital, I did started cramping on a very regular basis. That was a little bit more painful. I think those were there were really contractions that were doing something, but they weren't like intense, and I could just like breathe through them. And on the car ride, they were actually a little bit more intense than like just sitting down and standing up, where I couldn't talk back to Rob. So that was kind of where we're at that point. Now I'm kind of taking a little form because the hospital is so cute and they like write everything down for you. So at 11 o'clock, I was hooked up to those bands, like how do you call it, NT scans, where they like measure the baby's heartbeat, beat, and your contractions. And it says it's a clinical delivery because of meconium in the amniotic fluid. I was checked at 11:25, and I was 3 to 4 centimeters dilated, and they hooked up Brooke to one of those heart rate monitors that go on the head, so I didn't have to use that band anymore. They say my contractions were every 3 minutes, and they were still bearable. And my stepmom came, and it was just there. We were talking through it, and the little book that I got from my baby shower, I read that because the contractions were painful, but I could breathe through them. And in the meantime, I was like very happy. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I can do this. It's not as bad as Logan. I got this. And that was really nice. And the one thing that I told the nurse that was on my room, like, make sure that how long ever this takes, like every 2 hours you unhook me and you get me to the bathroom and make sure I pee, because I just don't want to like get really bad back contractions and everything like that, like I had with Logan, and not dilate because the bladder is in the way. So and she was like all for that. So 12:10, she made me go to the bathroom. As when I was checked, and I was a good 4 centimeters, and that's about it. And then because at 1 I was still 4 centimeters, she was like, your contractions are just not strong enough, not long enough for you to actually progress a little bit faster. Like, you're not progressing really fast, because between 11:25 and 1, I progressed like half a centimeter. So in about 1.5 hours, I progressed a half centimeter, which is probably normal, but there was meconium in the amniotic fluid, so they wanted her out like as soon as possible. So they were like, you could probably use a little bit more effective contractions. So they hooked me up to Syntocin, I think they call it over here. It's kind of like Pitocin. And I was like really scared for that, because with Logan the contraction got really, really bad. And I was like, I really just want to wait it out. I really want to wait it out. And she was like, I understand and I get it. And it's not like your baby's in that big of a danger that we couldn't. But I think you just need like a teeny tiny little drop to get this show on the road. And I would rather give you that teeny tiny little drop and make the contractions a lot stronger and a lot more effective. And for you to have your baby, like maybe in my shift, and her shifts ended at 4. Or then to let you go, and you may not have your baby until like 8 tonight, and you will be worn out. I would rather just give it an extra little push. So I let her do it because I trusted her, and I was like, well, okay, if this gets really bad, then I'll just have him unhook the IV again. So they put me on the IV at 1:10, and at 2:15 I went out to the bathroom again. Horrible, because at that point the contractions were like really in my back. And I had one, they were so back to back that I had one right before I got out of bed, then I had one on the bathroom, like when I was sitting on the toilet, and then I had one right before I climbed back into bed. And at that point I started switching my position. I wasn't sitting up anymore, I ended up going on all fours. Like I lifted up the back of the bed, so I could like hang on it and be on my knees. And every single time a contraction would start, Rob and my stepmom would both push on my back, and they would both like have a washcloth up my head and up my neck, and they really helped me breathe. And I was kind of like wiggling my hips a little bit. That really worked. I think that worked like 15 minutes, and then my legs really started to hurt, and I just couldn't get really comfortable anymore. So I tried to lay on my left side for a little bit. That was even worse because I couldn't they couldn't find a good pressure point at that point between Rob and my stepmom. They couldn't find the pressure point on my back to really push off. So I ended up sitting on the edge of the bed like I'm doing right now, and Rob facing me. So Rob was in a chair in front of me, and my stepmom was on my back, and every single time a contraction got, and they got really painful to the point where I was like, like during the top of the contraction. So I ended up like having my feet on Rob's chair and his legs between me, and Rob was having his hands like this, and I was pushing off like that. And my stepmom would pressure on my back with her entire weight. Like there's a picture where you can literally see like I'm like really pushing myself into her, and she's like pushing with all of her weight on my back, and it was really, really good. And at some point, like during a contraction, I would like tell her like, oh, put your hands on my back and start putting on pressure, and she would add on to the pressure as the contraction got bigger, and I would push off more of Rob, and then as the contraction passed this like its intensity point, I would like let go of Rob slowly, and at the moment I let go of Rob, she still hold on for like 10 seconds, and then it was good. That was kind of the routine, and it worked really well. We were in the zone, and it worked really, really well. Up until they checked me at like 2:45, they checked me again. I was 7 centimeters dilated, and I had 3 contractions while laying on my back while they were doing the checks and everything. I thought I was going to die. Like having them and not being able to pressure on my back and just have to like breathe through them and not be like actively trying to get through them. It was horrible. I was like, you need to give me something through the pain just to take the edge off, because I'm not doing this. I'm like, I can barely get through them. And I had the best midwife ever. She looked at me and said, you're so close, and I don't want to give you anything to make you like drowsy during the like actual pushing phase. You need to hold on. You're almost there. Like give it a few minutes. Like, just get back in your position and try it like that. And if you really can't do it anymore, then we can give you something to like take the edge off. Because all I wanted was like, they have like this like medicine that like just takes at the edge of the contraction, and it can kind of make you a little bit nauseous, but it doesn't really like affect the baby that way. So it's like, well, maybe Dad, I want to go natural, but I really can't do this anymore. And we ended up sitting back on the edge of the bed doing it like that, and I had maybe like 2 more contractions like that, and then the 3rd contraction after that I felt huge pressure, like really bad pressure. And during the contraction alone, like it was as the contraction was building up, I could feel it bearing down, and I started doing the J breathing through like as much as I could without them. I was like trying to do the J breathing, like really like breathing down. And I told the nurse that was in my room, like, I'm pushing right now. Like I don't want to, but I'm pushing right now. And she's like, you're not 7 centimeters dilated. And I'm like, no, but at the point of the contraction, I'm pushing with it because I can't do anything else. She's like, oh, fine, just go, like, trying to go through a few more contractions. If it keeps happening, then I'll call the midwife back. And it kept happening. And at some point, I think, like, the second to last contraction before she called, I was literally bearing down, like, going like that on the edge of the bed. And I could literally feel the head, like, dropping and dropping and dropping. So she called the midwife, and she was, like, across the hall. So she came really fast. And at 3:05, so within 20 minutes, I went from 7 to 10 centimeters dilated, because she checked me, and I was on my back again. I was like, I can't do this, because I was laying down, and whenever I was laying on my back, the contractions were so painful. I literally wanted to like claw my own eyes out. That's how painful they were. And she was like, calm down. You're 10 centimeters. We're gonna push. And at that point, everyone was like, wait, what? You did this all naturally? Wait, what the heck? So I was really excited about that, and I got like this energy boost, like, oh my god, I can push, I can do something. So at 3:05, I was completely dilated, and I started pushing. And what they did is they had a lot of warm washcloths, and they kept like pushing it down on my crotch area, like really, really, really warm. And they were like running back and forth to other rooms because the faucet in my room was on like the hottest level, and the faucet in the bathroom attached to my room was on like the coldest setting, and they were like pushing cold washcloth on my head and like putting warm ones between my legs, and I was capable of doing like 3 good pushes with every contraction. And she kept saying like, you got this, but you have to listen to me. If I say bear down more, you have to bear down more. And if you like feel like you can't do it anymore, take a deep breath. Like really, like if you're out of air, really let out every little bit of air you still have in your lungs, and take a good new fresh breath in, so you can really, really give a good push. And it was so nice that she kept talking through me and kept like telling me how to like push and where to push and to like push a little bit harder. And the funny thing is, every single time I would like push, I would like imagine like opening up and everything, and I would like really imagine like taking a good poop. And she was like, just give it a little bit more. And then I would think about the color purple, and I was right on track. She was like, okay, that's exactly what I mean. I'm like, I don't know why I have to think of the color purple, but I just had to. And then at 3:30 or something like that, she said that the head was out. Like she was like, you can give me 1 push and then the head is out. There's like literally pictures. My stepmom took pictures. You can literally see the head like keep going out and out. And every single time I was like, oh, now the head must be out. And then it was like, you were so close, but the babies like kept going back, and I could feel the baby like get back a little bit. But at 3:30 the head was like, maybe a little bit later than that. But at some point the head was out around that time. And I could literally feel like she was like, breathe, breathe, breathe. Do not push, breathe, 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 breathe. And I could feel the baby, like Brooke, I could feel her like twist. And I was like, and she said, give me a little push. And then I gave a little push, and I could feel Brooke's shoulder go like this, which is the weirdest feeling ever, by the way. And at that point, I probably tore on my old episiotomy scar on the inside. And she was like, okay, now go grab, you can get her. So I literally helped my own baby be born. And I pulled her out, laid her on my chest, and we dried her off and everything. And that was at 3:36. Brooke was born at 3:36. So I had a 5.5 hour labor. Amazing. And I was like, I just kept saying, I did it. I didn't have any medication. I did it. And then like after a few like minutes of her drying the baby off and everything, and like Rob kissed me and everything, and Rob's like, what is it? And the midwife was like, oh, you don't know? I'm like, and she like flipped out the baby like from, it was laying on my chest, so she flipped the baby over, and I was like looking between her legs. I was like, that's a girl, right? Like that looks like a girl. Like it is a girl, right? And because her like labia were so swollen, I was like, it's a girl, right? Like that's how a girl's supposed to look. She's like, yeah, it's a girl. Like, oh my god. And I started like really crying. Like I was really emotional. I kept saying, I did it and it's the girl. I did it and it's the girl. I kept saying that. So yeah, it was really amazing. Even the placenta, I was scared to birth the placenta because I was like, it's gonna be like raw and like, you know, you just push a baby out there and then you have to push something else out there. But basically what they did is they waited for the umbilical cord to stop beating, and then they stopped it, and Rob even felt it, like he could feel like the heartbeat slowing down in the placenta or in the umbilical cord. And the moment it was gone, they clamped it off, cut her loose, and at that point they gave me, through the IV I still had, an extra medication to help the placenta be born, but it really was barely necessary. The placenta was born like 2 minutes after that. And basically what she did is she kind of like pulled on the umbilical cord a little bit, and then she was kind of like checking if it was loose, and then she was kind of pushing on my belly, and she's like, well, and while she was like pushing on my belly, I could feel the contraction. I was like, oh, there's a contraction. She's like, okay, well, gently push, okay, gently, listen to me, gently push. And I was like really giving it, every time you push it a little bit harder, and at that point I could literally feel like the wall of the uterus like letting go. This is so gross, but I could really like feel it go out, and like I could literally feel like a blob being born, like bulb. I could feel it move through the entire like birth canal. I could like feel it. And then she held it up and we saw it, and it was amazing. And she even like folded it in a way that Brooke was in there. She like hold it up like that, and we have a picture of that. I will not insert it, but it's so amazing to see. And the first thing she said is, it's a huge baby. That's the first thing that's even what she said, the midwife, while I was pushing Brooke's head out. She's like, this baby is a big head. But you got this, okay? You got to trust me. I'm not gonna cut you. I'm not gonna give you an episiotomy because you can do this. You got this. And And then the baby's head was like, it's a big head. You got this. And when she laid the baby on, she was like, it's a really good sized baby. And it showed through the placenta. Like she was snug as a bug in there. Like this is a huge placenta. Like this baby was enjoying some kind of like 5-star hotel in there because it was huge and thick. So yeah, they saved that one for me, and she started stitching me up because I needed a few stitches because of the episiotomy that tore a little bit. And while they were doing that, I was drying off Brooke, and Rob was calling out like all people, like, oh, she's finally here and it's a girl, and he started crying. And while I was stitching up, they were stitching me up, Brooke was like searching, like you could tell like she was hungry, she was like trying to find a nipple. And I was like, oh, you have to wait because you're still stitching me up. She's like, no, just go feed your baby, that's okay. And I fed her for 30 minutes on the left, 30 minutes on the right, and it was amazing. And then we kind of still had skin-to-skin contact after that for another 30 minutes or so. So for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, I had her just skin-to-skin. And I just hold her, and she was just in a little blanket. They didn't take her from me. They didn't like check her or anything. And after that, they have to like make sure her weight and everything is fine within the 2 hours. So they took her from me, and the moment they laid it on the scale, I was like, whoa, it's a big baby. She was 3,810 grams, so it's about 8.5 pounds. And she was 52 centimeters long. I will put the exact inches and pounds over here. And at that point, they were like checking like how far gestational we were, and it was 39 weeks and 1 day. So she was about 100 something grams above the weight she should be having. So they checked her sugar levels, her blood sugar levels, and that's the point where it all started falling downhill. And they were like, she was really, really low, and she's not in a good place. Like, it's supposed to be 2.2 at the lowest, and it was 1.2, so it was really low. And that's basically the point where they had to put her into the NICU. And they did it really nicely. Like, they still gave her back to me for a little bit. They made the pediatrician come in and explain what's going to happen, that they were going to take her from me, but that I was allowed to visit at any time, and she should just let Dad come with us so we can hook her up to the IV, and you go take a shower with your nurse, and then come and look for her after that. And they didn't take her from me until the nurse actually had time to help me in the shower, because they were like, yeah, if you're going to take the baby away and you're still don't have your baby and your room is empty, you're going to go like crazy. So that was really nice of them. And that's basically it for my labor and delivery story. Everything else after that I'll probably just insert or include in our 1 week postpartum or 1 week old video. Again, if you have any questions about the birth, leave those in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thumbs up this video if you liked it. Thumbs up the video for a natural birth. I mean, hello, I was hoping for it and praying for it, but getting on the IV, I did not think I was going to do it. So, I don't know, I'm just like so pleased with myself. I'm like so proud. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.